That's right. We're two escrow officers that have done this for a real long damn time.
Check, check. Mic check.
Is this thing recording?
Hello, and welcome to ESCROWtainment.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to ESCROWtainment. My name is Brittany Siciliano.
I'm Tammy Stone.
And we are two escrow officers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, more on the Fort Worth side. We close real estate transactions for a living, and we decided to do this podcast this year just to give you some insight, deeper insight into the behind the scenes of our transactions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Help answer some real estate questions, things that come up, things that we see often, right? If you have the question, somebody else does too.
Somebody else does too, and let's just talk about it.
Right.
Not be scared about it.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so we have an episode for you today. What are we talking about?
We are going to talk about how to complete the T-47 affidavit.
Okay, what?
I know you think you know the answer, but it is 9 times out of 10 it's incorrect.
Incorrect. 9 times out of 10 contracts using an existing survey, that thing is not correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you dive in?
Well, tell them the number one.
The number one is the date that you reference on the T-47 affidavit. It has to be 100% of the time the date that the surveyor completes the survey on the ground for that property.
Right. It's not the date the seller acquired the property. It's not the date the first time they looked at the property, whenever they think they became the owner or familiar with it. What they're attesting to is they're saying that the survey that they have that you're providing to the title company, the lender, the buyer, no changes have been made to that survey.
Yeah.
So it's reflecting that original survey date.
Yes, it is not any other date.
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Never. So,
and most people most T-47 affidavits that we get, the seller inputs the date of when they bought the property. Oh, we bought it October of 2021. Yes, you might have, but you're relying upon a survey that was dated 2018. So we're wanting that seller to say from 2018, nothing has changed on the property except
what they know. What they know has changed.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you didn't own the property before 2018.
Right.
You are basically saying, to the best of your knowledge, this is what has changed.
Well, because you can look at that survey and go, oh, well, there's no shed in the back anymore. Or oh, now there's a pool. That one would be a big one.
That's a big one.
You know, whatever it is, you as the owner know how your property looks compared to what that survey shows.
Yes.
So as
always.
Yes.
And it's never like a month and a year or a year. It is literally a month, a day, and a year. A complete date.
Right.
Okay.
That surveyor certified.
So what happens if you don't see a date on the survey?
You don't have a good survey.
Then you can't
Is this a trick question? I thought this was a trick question, but that's true. There's certain things you got to have on the survey for it to be a valid survey.
Yes.
What else?
Yes. What if I bought the property? Well, no, let's back up. What if a shed was there when I bought it and it's on the survey, but now the shed is not there? And so on the survey, the shed is there, but physically on the ground, the shed is not there.
Well, I would wouldn't you list that under the number 4?
Yes, that you took it out.
It's
right?
gone.
Yeah.
Or if you've put a new shed and it's sitting back on, what do you call them, wood slats?
Yeah, those.
You know?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But, not permanent. It's just sitting on some center blocks or sitting on some of them wood flax? What are they called?
Wood like frame, maybe?
Wood. Anyway, something that's movable. We still want to know. We want to know what's different from that survey that we have, the original survey, to what it is now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And probably the craziest thing is that title companies do not inspect properties. It's pretty rare.
I have a terrible sense of direction.
Also, what are we looking at? I mean, I have no idea.
Yes.
But we so rely heavily on what is on this affidavit because you are, as the owner to the property, you are attesting swearing
It's-
a sworn statement that this is accurate information, and that is what we rely on for title insurance purposes.
Right.
So it needs to be accurate. It has to be accurate, period. I don't care what you interpreted from real estate school, what your broker is telling you, what you might have heard at a class somewhere. That date on the T-47 will always be the date on the survey,
Right.
period.
Yes.
No confusion.
Yeah, it is the date of the survey. I'll tell you another thing that I tend to get a lot is surveys are typically like legal paper,
Mm-hmm.
and the surveys that we get are now letter paper. So you've lost that whole 3 or 4 inches at the bottom, which is typically the date,
Yes.
the surveyor's signature,
Yeah.
their seal.
Yeah.
I tend to get that a lot. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's like a scan setting.
Yes.
When people scan them in. But I think buyers and sellers, when they think of a survey, they just want to see the house drawn in with the
Yes.
boundary lines.
Right.
They don't really care about the 10,000 other words on that
right,
piece
the,
of paper.
the certification,
you know?
the legal description. That's right.
Yeah. So let's go through that.
Yeah.
If we're reviewing a survey at the title company to be able to use it for closing or insure it for any lender coverages or anything else, like, let's just list out the top things that we know have to be on there for us to be able to even finish reviewing it.
Yeah. We already said date, so I'm going to
The
steal
date,
that one.
the date.
The date of the survey.
I'll say the certification language from the surveyor. So surveyors are licensed just like realtors are licensed and lenders are licensed and title companies are licensed, and they have a set of rules also that they have to follow. And in order for them to sign off on a survey, they have to certify that they were physically present on the
Right.
ground, that they completed the measurements and they completed that survey. It's a whole paragraph
Right.
that they usually sign by. Those 3 words, on the ground, are the key words that we look for. And that's a requirement.
Right.
What else?
Directional arrow, or what I would call the north arrow. It always shows which way north is facing.
Yeah.
So then that's,
So it could be sideways,
right.
could be upside down.
Yeah, diagonal. You see some where they're just sitting, off, but where the north is.
Yeah.
That'll help for you when you're thinking about like where the sun rises on your
Mhm.
property or
Mhm.
sets.
If you have a garden or something,
Yeah.
you want to know.
Yeah.
We also used to describe certain things by their location. So the shed on the east property line,
Right. Yes.
stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
why there needs to be a directional arrow. I'm going to say surveyor's seal and
Mhm.
signature.
Yeah. It's not a valid survey if it's not signed. I mean, that would just be like a check, right? If the check's not
Yeah.
signed, if the title commitment's not signed. So surveyors put their seal and signature.
Mhm. Like we have notary seals, surveyors have seals.
Right.
They
Legal
also-
description.
Yeah, huge.
Yes.
Huge.
That we don't insure property by physical address. That's for mail. That's for 911. We insure by legal description, how it's legally described. Usually a lot and block, meets and bounds if it's acreage, but the legal description is shown on the survey.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on a stage and let you tell them.
We're being recorded.
Let you tell them something.
Okay.
How do legal descriptions come to be?
How do they come to be?
Yeah.
Like per the
How
plat?
does, if I have 123 Main Street, how did it get
It's
its own
description.
legal
Well,
description?
it wasn't 123 Main Street first.
You're right.
It was lot 1, block 1, whatever it was. There's a plat dedication.
Okay.
When they develop the land and they set out the little lots and they're all given legals, you get your addresses. This is how I understand it. You get your addresses when mailboxes are kind of set.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I'm sure like in a subdivision with what we would say a tract builder who's building 100 homes, they have addresses. They've already spelled them out. But really, anytime you're legally talking about it, it's lot and block.
Mhm.
I always thought it was funny. Do you remember back in the day? This was more on like the lender side when they were real busy, and we would say we need the legal so we can get the order turned in. Do you have the legal? And they'd be like, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Did you ever get that?
Yeah.
You're like, well, no. So is mine. We need the legal.
Glad to
How
know
it's
about your
legal.
house.
Yes, exactly. What's the square foot now?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, legal description. That is the main thing that we're looking at on a survey.
Right.
And the seal. So
Yeah, and the part that I think even the seller and the even you as the realtor could tell is if you're looking at the property, do you see the house on it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the pool? You know, I'm not expecting you to like double check fences, but even as a realtor or as a buyer, you could look at a survey and say, I didn't see that shed in the backyard. You know, so that's what we're looking for. We're just comparing what it currently is like, the property, versus that survey.
Yes. Yep. We also need to see we also need to be able to read it.
Yes.
If you can't read it, guess what? We're not magical over here.
We can try to blow it up, and I've even tried to call some surveyors to see if they'll provide a better one. But if that's perfect. If you can't read it,
neither can we. And we I think sometimes people think, well, let's just drop it and see what happens.
Right.
But you really don't do yourself any service or your client any service if you know that it's not going to be legible.
Right.
So it also has to shake out with all the easements and recorded
building lines and all the things on it. I just saw one of our notes, and I like this one. And this has kind of become more and more further in that I've been closing, and maybe you too. I don't remember us doing this before, but now you can almost take an extra copy and draw in and show us where that fence is. I had one just the other day where they just moved those fences from the back of the house. You know what I mean? And moved them all the way up to the front, you know, got that side yard blocked in. And sometimes that might be okay with underwriting approval for us to accept, but you have to tell us that.
Yeah. So we can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you did a good job on putting them on the property line.
Yeah. Well, only one way to know for sure, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Get you a new survey.
That's what I would say too, Brittany. If you're a buyer and it's not a great looking survey, there's nothing wrong with you getting a new one.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was buying the property, I'd like to see that that's literally what it looks like, and that my fences are where I think they are, or, you know. So
you're buying what you think you're buying.
Yeah.
Especially in the larger tracts, you might not know.
You might think it ends here and it really goes back, or, you know, when you're getting into acreage. So I, probably because we do this, but I would always want a good survey. Not saying that there aren't good existing surveys, because there are. Yeah. There are some that are good and changes haven't been made, or small changes, but, you know, as a buyer, nothing wrong with getting a new survey.
No, not at all. And your lender may even require one, depending on, actually, lender and title may require one, depending on what changes are on the affidavit. Let's talk about the survey clause in the contract, the 3 options we have.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'll go first. The seller can pay for a new one. Number 2, the buyer can pay for a new one. But what's the one that gets everybody all messed up?
And I had 2 of them last week. Number one on the survey says seller will provide an existing within X amount of days, along with the T-47 executed affidavit, which we talked about. But I think the bold sentence, it is bold. It's bold. I'm paraphrasing, but it says if the seller does not provide either or of those items, a new survey will be obtained at seller's expense.
Regardless of if you have it marked a little bit down below there that says if it's not accepted, buyer or seller will pay for a new one.
Right.
If the seller fails to provide it, period, in that time limit, they are responsible for a new survey.
The seller pays for the survey. And, you know, like Brittany just said, it might not be acceptable. We might want a new survey to show where that fence is or where that concrete patio is done. And then it goes for those boxes. Who pays for it? Buyer or seller. But if one is never provided, then it is automatically a seller expense per that bold sentence.
Yes. So when you're taking your listings, you're working with your sellers, go ahead and ask for it. If they don't have it, find out where they closed before. There are ways to try to find it before you know for sure that you're going to not be able to fulfill that obligation in the contract.
Or don't assume because it's marked buyer that, well, we don't have it, they'll just get a new one at buyer's expense. I think that's what happens a lot. I
think you're right.
Is you think they'll just, you know, oh, okay, well, the buyer's going to get it. You need to drop down and use one of them other ones of who's paying for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So let me just check our notes.
I know the date and number 4. It's a quiz. The date and number 4 of the T-47. Date of the survey.
Date of the survey. T-47, date of the survey. T-47, date of the survey.
The T-47 is a survey affidavit.
Yeah. Only the survey.
So the survey date. That one really is big. I mean, I would say, even if I'm being conservative, 7 of the 10 T-47s
Yes.
are incorrect.
Yes.
9 might be pushing it, but there are a lot.
Yes.
There are a lot that have the wrong date. And it's not, I'm not just saying it's the realtor. The seller's reading it and filling it out, and they're thinking they can only tell you
Yes.
from when they owned it, and really they're attesting to that survey. So
Yes.
that was what we wanted you to really get out of this, is on that date for the T-47.
Yes. We can go on a mission. We can just go on a mission that all the T-47s in all of Texas for this point forward will be right.
They will be, because you just saw this podcast.
Because now you know. Date of the survey. Date of the survey.
Yeah, survey affidavit must be the date of the survey. It's not an owner affidavit.
Always.
Because then that would be when you bought the property as the owner.
Yes. Yeah. Survey. Survey date.
Yes.
We need what's a jingle?
A song, a catchy tune.
T-47. T-47. Date of the survey.
She wants me to rap. Right?
Rap on the spot.
Yes. No, not happening. That's not happening.
Okay, well, as always, we are super excited to be serving our local area. We love closing. We love interacting with the people that we do.
We like talking about surveys.
We like talking about T-47s.
Yes, that's what's bad or good. Yeah, for sure.
So, maybe we're a little nerdy, but you know what? We're really good at our jobs, and we have really great process in place to help you navigate all those potential pitfalls. So if you are in the area and you are looking for a new experience or to change things up a bit, and you want somebody to watch your back a little bit, let us know.
Yeah, you want to see how we do it, how we kind of check those boxes throughout the process, so that we try to help things facilitate smoothly and just work and answer your questions. I mean, we're available by phone, by email. We do have a podcast at mcknighttitle.com. So email us your questions.
Yes.
If you want to follow up on anything we've said today, love to hear from you.
We would. If you have like specific, you're still not sure after this episode, and you want to go in deeper, we are all about it.
Yeah.
Go in as deep as we can.
Yeah, we like to talk about it. Fences and stuff. And if we don't know the answer, we've got great people and great attorneys and underwriters that we can refer to for sure. So
yes, and just like our friends in the real estate community, we are making ourselves available because we have goals to grow our business. So if you respect that and you want to help us with that, please shoot us your contracts.
Yeah,
let us know. Send us your listings. Write us in on a buy contract. See, we have our podcast at mcknighttitle.com.
Right.
You can subscribe to us. We're on YouTube, Spotify. We are on TikTok,
Facebook. We post them on Facebook, not as much, but yeah, definitely on the Spotify and YouTube. So
episodes come out every Tuesday morning, pretty early. So add us to your playlist.
Yeah,
stay up and up on all the topics
learn
we're
about
talking
surveys.
about. Yes, and that the date on the survey affidavit is always the date on the survey.
Yes, we got that one
easy,
now.
Right?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, got it. All right. Well, invest in your tomorrow.
Live in your today.
From your 2 favorite escrow officers, please stay tuned. We have new episodes every week.